The technology, so small, you'll never see it coming. Imagine a computer, so small, you could mistake it for a speck of dust. Not a smartphone, no. Not a smartwatch. Not even something you can hold in your hand. A grain of dust. Imagine millions of them, billions of them, floating through the air, embedded in buildings, scattered across roads, bridges, farms, factories, and cities, collecting information, communicating with each other, creating a network so invisible, most people would never know it exists. It sounds like science fiction, but scientists have been working on this concept of smart dust for decades. And if it becomes reality, which it might be, it could change the world. So many ways people are not prepared for. The story begins in the late 1990s. Researchers started asking a simple question. What if sensors could become so small they could be deployed almost anywhere? Instead of building larger computers, what if we made them smaller? Smaller than a coin, smaller than a grain of rice, smaller than a grain of sand. The goal wasn't to create tiny gadgets. The goal was to create tiny machines capable of sensing the world around them. Temperature, movement, light, sound, pressure, chemical changes, and then transmitting that information back to a larger network. Each individual particle wouldn't be very powerful, but millions, billions working together? Well, that's where it gets interesting. Think about an ant colony. One ant isn't impressive necessarily, but thousands working together can build something remarkable. Smart dust follows a similar idea. Tiny devices, massive collection intelligence. Supporters say the benefits could be enormous. Imagine forests that monitor themselves for wildfires, bridges that detect structural damage before a collapse occurs, agricultural fields that report soil conditions in real time, factories that instantly identify equipment failures, hospitals that monitor patients more efficiently, entire cities becoming smarter, safer, and more efficient. I know, from that perspective, smart dust sounds less like a threat and more like a technological breakthrough, correct? And maybe it is. But every technology comes with trade-offs. Because the same sensors that monitor infrastructure could potentially monitor people, and they will. The same systems that gather environmental data could gather human data. The same network that sees problems could see human behavior. History shows us that once a technology exists, someone eventually finds a new use for it. The internet was originally designed to share information. Today, it influences commercial politics, culture, nearly every aspect of daily life. Social media was supposed to connect people. Now it shapes public opinion around the globe. Technology really stays in the box we built it for. And that's what makes smart dust so fascinating. The technology itself isn't necessarily the story. The story is what happens after, because smart dust represents something larger, a shift away from visible technology. Excuse me. For decades, technology has been very obvious. You know where the computer was. You knew where the camera was. You knew where the device was located. But what happens when technology disappears into the environment itself? What happens when computing becomes invisible? When sensors become part of the walls, part of the roads, part of the air around us? The future may not arrive with giant robots, to be honest, walking down the street. It may arrive quietly, one microscopic sensor at a time, and smart dust is one piece of that future. Scientists are also exploring nanotechnology, programmable materials, advanced sensor networks, technologies that blur the line between the digital world and the physical world. A structure where the environment itself becomes intelligent. Not because a machine took over, but because computation became part of everything. And that's the question worth asking. Not whether smart dust is good or bad. Not whether it succeeds or fails, but whether we're prepared for a world where technology becomes so small, so integrated, and so invisible that we stop noticing it's there at all. Because the biggest technological revolution in history, it might not be one we see coming. It might be the one we never see at all. Sorry about my voice, guys. I'm very sick today. I wanted to be here, though, to see you all, talk to you all. It's very important. See you tomorrow.